Okay, here we are looking at a water heater and it's leaking. Does a leaking water heater mean you have to replace it? This is a question we're thinking about today. The water heater is just a tank. Now this is a gas-fired water heater and it's a little different than electric. Electric's got a couple more places it can leak. But we're not going to look at anything inside the water heater because a lot of people are kind of scamming people saying if there's any leaks around the water heater, you're going to have to replace the heater. That's not always true. Okay, these flex lines could leak anywhere along them. If they do, they can be replaced. You don't have to replace the water heater. This fitting here, there's a gasket inside here. If this is leaking, if you see water coming down here, then maybe you need to replace the gasket. It could be just loose, pretty uncommon, but could be loose. Okay, and then there's the pipe fitting down here that fits into the tank. Those are all places that could have leaks, but not necessarily you would have to throw this thing away. You've got a pop off here. That's a safety. Going to blow off if there's excessive pressure or temperature inside the tank. And it has a pipe that goes down. Sometimes you get a leak out of this pipe. Okay, that is not a replacement for a water heater. That may indicate other problems. It may indicate the tank's overheating, but chances are it's just leaking. It means you replace this. The pop-off can be replaced. Again, anytime there's threads going into the tank, it's possible it could leak there. And you'll see water right around in these different places. Okay, another place it can leak is right down here at that fitting right there. That's a water heater drain. There's a little slot in the top of it. Can't see that too well, but you can try to tighten it up with a slot head screwdriver. Might work, might not. If it is leaking, if it's dripping out of there, actually out of inside that. Now what we're looking at here is is it dripping out of inside here? If it is, you can try tightening it. Probably not going to make any difference. You can put a hose cap on that. There are little brass hose caps you can put on there. That pretty much solves that problem. If it's leaking from inside here, that's going to be a lot tougher to tell because there's insulation in here. This is not the tank. Because there's insulation inside. You know, that's not the tank. That's just a jacket. The tank's actually inside. So that fitting could be leaking where it goes into the tank. That could be problematic. You know, it's hard to say. A lot of times you can just replace that valve. If someone says your water heater's leaking and the tank has to be replaced, you need to have them point out where the problem is and why it's not a fitting. These tanks do fail. Occasionally they will get a pinhole leak in them or something like that, or possibly you can't make a fitting seal. Pretty unusual, but that can happen. But have them show you where the leak is. Don't accept that, well, water heater's leaking, I got to replace it. You know, it's not a real expensive replacement, somewhere between $500 and $800 depending on who's doing it. There's no reason to do it unless you have to. Now, I'm going to talk in another video about electric water tanks and a few things about them that are a little different than these tanks. But don't let yourself get caught in replacing a tank that just has a bad gasket. Something like that. Don't replace a tank over a bad gasket. Anyway, that's it on this one.